another episode of Haunt Talk. In today's episode, we are going to be reviewing Blood Prison at the Ohio State Reformatory in Mansfield, Ohio. It has won our Haunt of the Year a couple years. We didn't go last year, but we have been going pretty consistently. We went to the Christmas event and stuff like this, and it really wasn't in the itinerary to go to this year, but we were in Columbus for Fear Columbus and the Haunted Hoochie, and we heard that the show was good this year, and so we decided to hit it on our way back. And not to spoil too much before we get in the review, but we are glad that we did.
Yes.
But before we get into the review, which it might be a long one because there's a lot to talk about, so just get all the stupid stuff out of the way. Make sure you like and subscribe, and make sure you're checking out our merch store to purchase cool hoodies and crap, mugs and other stuff. Also check out our Patreon to help support us. That being said, as always, it's time to refer to the Book of the Dead! Book of the Dead! Book of the Dead! Book of the Dead! As always, we start with sets and props. Now, for somehow you're unfamiliar, I mean, I guess I said at the beginning of the video, but it is in an actual defunct prison where the Shaw Shank Redemption was filmed. Is probably what it's most notorious for.
Yeah.
Because that movie is insanely popular.
Yes.
And they do like day tours and stuff, and they do ghost hunts and that kind of thing as well, because of course the place is supposed to be actually haunted in that, and we do have a ghost hunt on the channel for this place as well, so after this video you can go check that out.
So when we got there, they had actually kind of changed things up from the last time we were there, and we were actually pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, it seemed like a lot of stuff was different or enhanced.
Yeah. So the first thing you walk into is, it still starts in the guard room, and there's a huge, really, really cool pumpkin archway that you walk into.
Yeah, and it's like all like pumpkin, it's like a pumpkin walkway kind of to like the entrance to the actual haunt.
And then, the, entrance is you're going into the Warden Widow's Manor. Mm-hmm. This part of the haunt is basically like a haunted house themed.
Yeah, pretty classic
area.
like haunted mansion.
Haunted mansion.
Gonna go through things like, but like very elevated and very, very beautifully designed.
Oh my gosh, so cool.
Yeah, it's just scene after scene. Now this is one of the first part, because when we get into the later sets and props, you can tell you're in a prison for a lot of part, but this part, like, you can't tell because you're not really in the cell block yet. You're in, I don't know exactly what you're in at this point, but something. But this is like a fully built like haunted house inside of the prison. And I'm pretty sure this structure stays up year round, because other parts of it they take down, have to rebuild because they do tours. But this I believe stays up, because when they had that Haunters convention, they opened this section, right?
Yeah, this section and then the basement.
In the basement.
That place, not a lot of people go down there. If they do open it up, it's just gonna have all the props and stuff like that down there.
Okay, because Mansfield's as a gigantic prison, but. Yeah, and it's really cool, and there's like a cobblestone courtyard and stuff like that. We think there might have been a few new scenes in there, like you were saying, like the pool table theme you thought might have been new.
I don't remember there being a pool table in that first scene with the, I guess it was like a living room or like a parlor or something like that, because that's like where you kind of like finally enter into the full-fledged manor. You go under like, you have to go crawl into a fireplace and stuff like that.
Kind of like, not full hands and knees, but you do have to duck pretty low and get under there. And you do get to, so after that, then you get to go through solitary confinement. Now, this is one of the few parts where they don't really re-theme it. It's just themed to be what it originally was, which was solitary confinement, which, and again, there's a lot to get into actors, but there's just something freaky about walking down these hallways that there's very, very little light, and the cells are just pitch black. Yeah. And you can't tell what's in there. If it's a person, if it's a prop, and it just... And they just... they didn't even have much music playing. They never usually do. Like, there is, like, music...
like a droning. Yeah, there was a droning music. We've said it before when we've done these reviews for this place. Solitary, a lot of times, they didn't have any actors in there. And it was, like, you didn't really need it. Because it was just so creepy, and you were just like on edge because you're like, where are they? Where are they? You know, like you're waiting for somebody to come out. Nobody ever does, but it still keeps you on edge.
Yeah.
This time around, though.
Well, so there's a lot to get into with actors, but there's a lot for sets and props as well, because it's really impressive what they've done here, truly. And then the next like big thing you get is like this huge like zombie city type of scene. And this year is really cool because they usually have like fencing, but the way they designed it is it's not really a maze per se. I don't think there's a wrong way you can go, but there's lots of different paths that you can take.
I think they kind of did that because with the touch pass, which I'm actually still wearing my little touch pass, it seems like a lot of the actors would grab you and like take you a different way, but like you would eventually meet up with your group. So
and it also I think just allows, like, the way they designed this set is they designed it in a way that allows the actors to get you multiple times.
Yeah.
So that is kind of cool. But the further you get into Zombie City, I feel like the cooler it becomes because there is like a ton of like crashed cars. At one point, there's a full-on tank. Like I think it's a real tank that's been decommissioned.
Yeah. There's an airplane that's in pieces. That's
just really cool. There's I've seen it before, but there's a cool like barrel scare, and like it looks like the barrels are rolling at you. Because what's cool about it is it starts flat, and then all of a sudden the pigs raise and barrels just fall at you.
Yeah.
And I thought that was pretty cool. Just like a little like animatronic / prop thing. I think the next area that you get to is the clown area, and this seemed different too.
Yes.
Because they did a similar structure to how they did the maze in the zombie area, where there's like neon colored like
big blocks and
like wood
booths. Things. There was like game booths. I noticed that there was a lot of game booths, and you had to kind of weave in and out of the game and food booths or whatever.
Giant Jack in the Boxes.
Yeah.
The next thing you come to is like what it seems to be like a hospital, and they kind of do the same thing with gurneys there to kind of like path you through there. You come to a really cool cemetery scene, and again they make you wind around more, because what I remember from other years is it's more of like a straight path, where this time inside the cell blocks you're actually kind of weaving a little back and forth, not a ton but a little bit, to kind of make it feel more like you're experiencing space a little bit more. They've had the church before, but the church also seemed different.
Yeah,
2021.
It seemed like, I don't know, like they like really like expanded it a lot more. It felt bigger, and I know it probably wasn't.
It did, because they also had a ton of pews in there, and again you had to weave through the pews and stuff, so you had to go back and forth and back and forth. And then at the end, it's kind of like actor dependent, but you either get to go through like the heaven or the hell hallway, which is kind of which is neat. Directly after that, I don't remember 100% what was directly after that, but I know you go and get into a hospital theme, but it's a little bit different than like the first, because there's like that other hospital scene that's a little bit different than that. This one seemed more like maybe it was supposed to be, I don't know if it's supposed to be like an insane asylum, or it seemed a little bit different than
it seemed like full-fledged, like there were like like the reception area and like your typical places that you would see in a hospital, stuff like that.
Yeah, that was something else that seemed a little bit different this year. Is there were a lot of more, like, it seemed like facades and like buildings you were going into, or like they built a bunch of mini actual haunted houses, where instead of seeing like just prison block, you're actually kind of going through what seemed like an actual like normal type of haunted house. So I kind of like that they mixed that a little bit more, which is really neat. And then you go to the basement, and that's kind of like slaughterhouse / experiment kind of thing, where there's a lot of people like in cages type of situation. Just a ton of experiments. This section is a little bit of a blur, which we'll get into more in actors, because there was a lot that happened down there. But there was a murder air cannon. I remember that scared the absolute crap out of me.
Yes.
And I know there's a giant like demon puppet thing that was in, because I don't know if it's actually part of the prison, if they built it, but it looks like almost like a giant sewer pipe.
Yeah, and there was like one of those big puppets inside there. I think it was like a dragon or a demon or something like that popped out of it.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
But it's really wild, like how much they have fit into the sets and props area of this. I mean, and the lighting and stuff. Like, we've been to a lot of haunts that kind of go with the theme of a certain already spooky area. But this one, they've always done it really well, but this year I feel like it's even better. They've really expanded upon and just made this immaculate haunt. So you get there's just enough of both, I feel. Just enough of actually getting to see the prison that you're in, and just enough of getting to see the cool sets that they're fake. And I don't know, it just has a really cool mixture of ambiance. And the sound design. Oh, that's something else I want to mention, is I've complained before, is they used to have this cannon that they fired off in there that was just not scary, but just would blow your eardrums out. it seemed to not, at least we didn't, I never heard it once, and I definitely never experienced it when we were there this time.
Yeah, thank
so
goodness.
I was very happy that wasn't there, because I never liked that thing. So, but yeah, for sets and props, we gave it a 10. I mean, for what this hunt is, I can't imagine there being better. I could just imagine them doing different things, but I couldn't imagine it being actually better than what it was. So, now we're going to get into actors. So one thing I will state, and Kim kind of mentioned, well, she mentioned it with the thing, is they do offer a touch pass here.
Yes.
As an upcharge, which gets more of that in value. But I do highly recommend you do it because, well, I guess maybe after we're done talking, you'll know if it's for you or not. This is by far one of the wildest experiences we've ever had in a haunted house. And I mean, we've said before that this one's pretty intense. But I don't think I've ever seen so many actors working here.
There was just so many. And especially considering we went on a Sunday night, and usually Sundays are kind of not...
Yeah, a little bit lighter on actors, because sometimes it's harder to get...
Yeah, because a lot of times the actors that are there are like students, so they have to go back to school, things like that.
Or even adults have to work in the morning, so they might not want to be out super late. Although I think Sundays they might close a little earlier. I'm not positive on that, but I'm assuming they probably do a little bit.
7 to 10, I believe.
Okay, so that's probably, but that line gets long. But, I mean, like, we're talking, like... I don't even know how there could be many more actors. There's so little dead space in actors. But, I mean, as soon as you walk in, like, we walk in and we're going towards, like, the widow's house thing, and just a guy comes running out with his chainsaw and just grabs me by the neck, starts putting his fingers in my ear and just running the chains up and down me, and just, I mean, he was rough, and I'm like, right away, you're like, okay. And I think Kim was enjoying the show for a minute before we turned around and just, like, grabbed her by the throat.
Yeah, and just, like, shoved me through the house,
Oh, yeah. This is the most unrelenting, because we've done the touch pass, for Chippewa. We've done the touch pass for Nightmare Cleveland this year, and then a lot of the ones in Louisville on touch. And we did Haunted Hoochie this weekend, and nothing compares to what they did here with the touch pass.
This was just incredible. It was just crazy.
At one point when we were in the kitchen scene, there was a person with a wooden spoon who Kim got to meet nice and well.
Yeah, she spanked me with the wooden spoon.
Yeah.
And when I said something, because I'm like, I just got spanked, and she's like, yes, you did, and hit me 2 more times. I'm like, really?
Yep. That was fun. I mean, and it's just crazy. Like, it just was crazy. Like, they were just coming out of, like, everywhere. Like, there'd be times where, like, you're not just getting double scared, you're getting triple scared. Like I said, I mean, it was, like, on the level of Ghoul Brothers, but just being grabbed and shoved and, like, there was a really cool thing, and I remember seeing her before, but every time it impressed me, you turn the corner, and there's, like, a little hallway going to, like, the next thing in the haunted house, like, in the warden's, widow's wife thing house. And she's, like, literally just crawling up on the walls. And she'll, like, make you walk under her and stuff like that. And, of course, grabbing you as you go by. I don't think anyone I saw didn't grab me at least a little bit.
Yes, they did something. They even if they just went like that, real quick, they did something.
But most of it was more than that.
Yes.
Most of it was, like, they're getting you. They're getting you hardcore. And then when we got into Solitary, one thing that we liked this year, and I don't remember if they had it in 2021, but... there's always been, like, a couple actors in Solitaire, but this time they use boo pedals, which I can't describe to you exactly how terrifying that is, because, again, Solitaire is just long and almost completely pitch black.
Yes.
And you can't see anything in the cells, and all of a sudden, a loud noise comes out, and an actor flies out and grabs you.
And a bright light, so it's very disorientating, and then once he goes away, and the light's gone, you're like, you can't see, because your eyes have just been, like, assaulted with light, so that you're in this darker than it was hallway, and you're just like, what do I do? Like, at one point I was like, I don't know where to go. I know it's just a straight shot, but I was like, I can't see anything.
It'll be freaky too, because there's some people that would just stand, like, towards the end of the hallway, and they have those, like, shockers that, like, they do, like, their like, they're not actually like, they're like fake tasers essentially. And then I remember, like, the one grabbed Kim, and then one of the solitary confinement hallways, and really gave her a good shove.
Oh yeah, I almost fell.
They shoved her real good.
Like, he shoved me, and I stumbled, and I was like, okay, I'm not falling in this. This is like, we're 5 minutes in. I don't want to fall on my butt.
It was wild. Speaking of wild, the zombies were absolutely insane. Like, because they were very like what you would think being attacked by a zombie would be outside of actually getting hurt. But I mean, they would just like pinch grab you everywhere from your neck all the way down to like your feet. I mean, they crawling on the ground and just grabbing it. And that's something else that happened to me in solitaire. Is I'd think the scare is over, and all of a sudden I would just get grabbed at my ankle real quick by some guy scuttling across the ground at me. One of the craziest things that happened with the zombies was they have sliders, and one did a slide grab. I saw him like just kind of watching me because again the way they have like those cages, and I saw him over there and I'm like, oh, he's gonna run. Well, he ran, slid, and as he was sliding, grabbed my back, pulled himself up with my back, and then he just like I don't know, he was like pinching me with his little like metal slide things, and then he jumped up on a car and was like trying to grab our faces up there and stuff. That was fun. And I remember, like, directly after that, and they did this at Chippewa, too, which is just something scary about it. There's a guy, like, hiding in a cell, and there's a barrel in front of the cell. So you think, oh, no one's in front of this. There's theming until the barrel goes flying out in front of you. A real barrel, and he comes running out and grabs you.
Oh, my gosh. That was terrifying, because it was such a loud boo. Yeah, it was terrifying.
Yeah. We got chainsawed a lot. We got chainsawed here quite a bit. I know, and they did touch us a lot with the chainsaws this year, which I don't remember them touching us with it too much in years past. They sure did this year. They would hold you down and just chainsaw you. There was, so when we get to the circus area, there's this one actress who had one of those, like, heads that are on a string, and she's like, look at my head, and then throws it at you. And then, of course, after throwing at you, she put me in a headlock and made me kiss it and whatnot, because, of course. We saw her again, like, after a different, like, we, like, went through and then went through a vortex tunnel, and she went through again, and, I mean, she was just dead still. I knew she was real because she had already scared us once, but, like, I mean, it didn't even look like she was breathing, and like an animatronic. I also got tickled by some girl. Like, again, they really like to put their fingers in your ears here.
Yeah, I probably had like 3 different people put their finger in my ear.
Yeah.
And like not just like a gentle little thing. They were like digging for something. Like they were just going in there, and I'm just like, please stop that.
And I'm pretty positive someone did spritz us with water in the clown section. I'm pretty positive someone did. They had like a little spray bottle. Another fun one was there was this guy. I didn't know what he had on his hands. I thought they were like little boxing gloves or something. But Kim's like, oh no, they were cups.
Yeah, he had paper cups on his hands, and he was just going doo 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 doo.
Yep, he just give you like little punches with them.
Yeah, it was really weird. I was like, he has cups on his hands. Like I think they were like maybe like popcorn cups or something like that. But yeah, he was just punching at us with these little popcorn cups on his hands.
Yeah. It's also funny because, like, I feel like maybe it was probably in the zombie one, but I know and I want to go back to that. There was some girl that was, like, also, like, a lot of them were climbing on things. Mm-hmm. They were just everywhere.
They were all over the place.
Like, but she was, like, climbing up on the fence and, like, somehow, like, you know, backwards on there, like, grabbing us as we went by. She held Kim there for a while. I think she was playing with her face or something. I don't know.
Yeah. She was playing with my hair.
And then, so you go through, there was a cool girl, in the cemetery asking us if we hear the voices of the dead, and she was following us around. That's another thing, is they all had like dialogue. Almost all of them were like talking to you the whole time too, just saying like crazy deranged things. Very little like of the generic stuff like do you want to play. Someone said something about playing, but even it was like more unique than just do you want to play. And it was also in like the clown thing, and her whole thing was trying to actually I think play like one of the games, so it made sense in this scenario instead of just want to play. But anyway, so as you're walking up to the church from the cemetery, there's this nun, and she's just, like, so contortionist. She's, like, on the back of the pew, like, looking like a demon. And then the whole time in the back of the church, there's, like, I think he was, like, saying a sermon even. I think he was talking the whole time, like, the pastor.
The pastor was, like, he was tall, and he was, you know, redeem yourself, kind of that kind of stuff or whatever.
But the nun, man, she got me good because she, like, jumps off the pew and she had a bottle of holy water in her hand. And I didn't know if she just goes like this and just doused me right in the face with a bottle of water. I mean, it scared the shit out of me. Like, I screamed. And then this was cool because we talked about in sets and props, then they, like, send you down the good or the bad. Because I got blessed with the holy water, so I got the good section, and Kim got sent to the bad. It's just a very small section you do alone, like, very small.
Yeah.
There was no actors in it.
Nothing happened or anything like that, but yeah, they just do
kind of
separate.
Cool, it's a fun idea, though. Kind of freaks you out. Again, like, this place is super good, and just, I'm adding in anxiety. Probably the most intense actor interaction I had was pretty close after this. You went to, like one of the hospital scenes, and it was, like, this bigger lady, and she had, like, like, all those gross pores in your face, that, like, the trypodipophobia thing, like, that kind of situation, you know, that. and she held me, like she had my forehead up like this, when it had me like in I don't know what she was doing to Kim, I couldn't see because she had me in a headlock and had her hand up like this, and then she took her like pinky, I think she did this intentionally, and like opened my eye and took water and just sprayed it right into my eye, and then shoved me, of course, and I'm like, oh, because I couldn't see what she was doing because she had me like held so much, and then she just took it and just sprayed it right there, and yeah, that gave me a good startle.
Yeah, she just grabbed me, and she had my head kind of like right, like we were literally cheek to cheek like this, and she went, "You want to bite?" And then she would be like that.
Oh, yeah, and she really just had me.
Yeah,
she was manhandling me. I mean, that happened a lot, but and then like I think it was like the next scene, there was some girl that was grabbing us and like telling us our blood smelled good, and then asked Kim what her blood type was.
Yeah,
that was fun. And then we get down to like the basement section. One of the first people there, like the girl had a syringe, like a fake syringe, obviously, and then she like was stabbing us with it.
Yeah.
Stabbed me in my earlobe, kind of freaked me out a little bit.
Yeah, she just took it and she puffed some air at me.
Yeah.
When I walked past, she just went poof like that, and it was like very disorientating because I didn't expect that. I thought she was gonna stab me with it, but she just went poof.
Because there was two of them down there at once, and then another one had like a little rattle in her hand. Mm-hmm. And I remember she like came around, like.
I think
in front
it was
of me
pill
and
bottle or something.
Oh, that might make sense. I couldn't see what it was, but I know she cut in front of me and rattled it in your ear and then ran back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this was a fun one. The pig guy who tried to feed you to some.
Yeah. So like in the like butcher slaughterhouse-ish area, there's a bunch of cages, and there's actually a live actor in one of the cages. And when you pass her, when you pass her, she's like, "Oh, don't go down there. They're gonna eat you. Please, don't leave me here."
Was it a he or a she?
It was a she.
Oh, okay.
And then I went around the corner, and the pig guy grabbed me and like literally like dragged me back to this girl and let her manhandle me through the cage.
Yeah, he held her against the cage as someone's just sticking out arms, just grabbing her hair and just, I don't even know, doing all the things.
Yeah.
We've got to take turns leading and following, like, the haunted house. We're like, I don't know which is worse. Because like if you're in the front, you're getting a little bit more of the jump scare when they initially run at you, but if you're in the back, like, it prolongs a little more. It's something. But they did a good job. Like, I mean, I don't even know how intentionally they were, but like if I was in front, they would grab me and throw me up against a wall, and Kim would get to switch to lead, and then vice versa. Because like she was leading, for example, in this scene, and after the pig choked her out and put her for the
back in the back, yeah.
Then I ended up leading. And then let's see. Yeah, so it wasn't the end scene, but it was one of the final scenes, and this was talking about, like, there was like 3 rooms in a row that I don't know what happened. Like, an actor came out, and they did the same thing basically to Kim, but they came out, he said something, threw me, and another actor grabs me, and they say, "Now get in my freezer." They shove me in the freezer. Then I think it was like 2 other actors start pulling me back and forth, and then I get thrown into the next scene, and then I walk around a corner, and then a guy comes running out with a chainsaw, holds me, and like puts the chainsaw up in my chest, like close to my throat, and then he pushes me, and there's a guy with like a hook, and he beats me with that a little bit, and then we finally get to the final staircase, and I don't know, she just kind of roughed my hair up a little bit, and then we finally got to leave. It was just like back to back to back of literally just being thrown between all of these actors.
Yeah, they just like were grabbing and passing,
madness.
It was crazy, yeah.
I've never seen anything like that. I mean, like, it was just, I mean, at one point I just screamed, "Why are there so many of you?" Like,
there's probably at least like 6 or 7 of them.
Oh yeah, at least 6 or 7.
2 little rooms.
Yeah, just in those few less rooms. And I mean, my God, they were just, it was something else. Yeah, so, yeah. Oh yeah, and she said that the face would look real. The guy with the chainsaw, the whole thing is he was trying to find a new face for the person that was like sitting on the stairway.
Yeah, so he told the girl that was, just kind of like playing with our hair and stuff like that. He said that my face would look really good on her.
Yeah. But yeah, actors, obviously from everything we said, is phenomenal. Also the costuming, I will say too, we didn't really mention it, but all the costuming, the makeup,
everything, just
everything, just perfection. Obviously it's a 10. I've never been to a haunt that's this big, that's had this many actors. Because we always say that, like, how good Ghoul Brothers is, and it's amazing with actors. I've never seen a haunt that is of this size.
You're right. Usually when you go
insane.
to one of these, it's like way less of actors.
I was happy if there's 20 seconds. 20 seconds of dead space. Like when we got to, because they don't obviously scare you on the stairs. Since it's a prison, there's a fair amount of times you go up like small flights of stairs and stuff. I was like happy when we got to this because I knew there wouldn't be an actor for just a few seconds. I'm like, just thank God. But yeah, absolutely deserve the 10 out of 10 for that. And then scare factor, as my notes say, read above. Now, again, we did the touch pass. I think even without the touch pass, it would still be pretty scary.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would be a 10 out of 10 without the touch pass. But I think, like, they still seem to be doing a good job with the jump scares, because just them being everywhere. Like that.
Yeah. And we did get, like, some people did get caught up to us at one point, but I could still hear them getting got. Yeah. And they didn't have touch passes. They just were regular, and I could hear them just freaking out. And that's good to hear because, sometimes, they seem to neglect the people that aren't doing the touch passes and go after the people that do.
Because the thing is, I think, too, like, if you're someone that goes to these a lot and you don't get normal scared, you're probably going to want to opt in for the touch pass anyways.
Yeah.
And again, just like any place, you can take the glow stick off at any point if it's too much.
Yeah.
But it's just so insane. I mean, the atmosphere of the place is absolutely terrifying. Obviously, it's a prison. It is loud. There's definitely gore. But, I mean, the main thing is just the intensity of the actors. I mean, every type of scare you could imagine happens especially if you have the touch pass. It's just... I mean, it really makes you feel like you're one with the show. It's really something else. I mean, like we said, with this particular run through is probably the scariest experience we've had at a haunted house.
Yeah, no, legit. And
I don't know if I've screamed and just felt so, like...
Yeah, like, I was so intense, and, like, once we got out of there, I was kind of shaking a little bit. I was like, what just happened? Like, wow. Like, I was so impressed, and just...
Yeah, I don't even think we really said much. We didn't really talk too much when we first left, just because we were just like, it was just a lot to like take in. That last scene, I'm not even joking. I'll probably have like little nightmares about it. I mean, I didn't even see the actors. I was just being thrown. I was being pinball between multiple people, just screaming and laughing and just, I don't even know what they were doing to me. It was a wild time. Yeah, scare factor. I mean, obviously a 10. If you went and got the touch pass and did it this year and didn't think so, it must have been a very different night. It's something else. Yeah. So when we get into value, it is definitely on the pricier side for the haunt. And something that's really weird. So it's online only this year.
Yeah.
But that part's not weird. A lot of haunts are doing that. But the part that's weird is for general, it's $35 plus $5.
Yeah.
I'm assuming the 5's processing. It doesn't say, at least not on the mobile version of the website. I didn't actually go on the actual website. I went in the mobile version, but it just says 35 plus 5.
Yeah. Because there's also, like, fees and taxes that you have to pay as well. So you're paying all this extra money, which is really strange.
Right. So I don't really understand what the plus 5 is. I assume it's processing. But the thing is, it's like, if it's online only, just say the ticket's $40.
Right.
It's not like you have the option.
Yeah.
So I found that really weird. It's only $7 more for the touch pass, so that's nice to see that hasn't went up. A lot of places are charging $10 now for the touch pass, so it's only a $7 upcharge for that. Now the thing that's really expensive is they used to have a fast pass and an immediate access. Now they just have immediate access.
Yeah.
And it's $75 plus 5. So if you do that plus a touch pass, I don't know if this one. Sometimes it used to include the touch pass. I don't actually know if it does or not.
I don't remember.
Please hold. I'm going to look that up. Okay, so it does say fee. There's a column that says that is the fee, which again, I don't know why. Ultra Lightning Fast Pass, reduce your wait option. So no, it does not include it. So it would be if you want the Ultra Lightning Pass, so their Fast Pass, it's $80 plus the $7. So after taxes and stuff like that, you're going to be looking at over $90 per person. So that is obviously very expensive. Again, we always just rate off of the general price, though, because that's the only thing you have to pay to get in. And so we're just going to say $40, because that's what it is. I mean, taxes, everyone pays taxes, which is weird, though. Most of the time you don't, actually. But maybe online. I don't know. I prefer to buy it at the gate if places offer it. I don't know why I do, but I generally do. I guess more in case something happens. I don't know. But it took 30 minutes to get through, so $40 and 30 minutes to get through. I mean, it's a fairly long house. It actually seemed longer, but in a good way. Usually it's a bad way when you say that, but like, because you go through a lot. There's you go through both prison cells. You go through, I don't know, a bunch of other crap. I was surprised that, because I time it on my stopwatch, and I stopped it. Well, I don't think I usually stop it because there's like 2 small queues within the haunted house. The one I didn't stop it for because we didn't really get stopped for more than like a couple seconds.
Yeah.
But the one we did probably stand there for, I don't know, a couple minutes, 5 tops.
Yeah.
I mean, I did stop it for that one. So, I mean, it is really expensive. It's kind of like how they price the PA haunts. But it also is one of the best haunts I've ever been to. So we still think value for the quality you're getting is high. So we did give it a 9. Pro tip, though, try and book the earliest hour and get there the 15 minutes before it opens and just go get your ticket, get in line. If you go there like midnight on a Saturday, you're going to be there forever. Well, I think that's why they do the time ticketing online only now, to help prevent that. So maybe the lines aren't as bad as they used to be. But I mean, we've waited in there for hours before, and the line wasn't even that long.
Yeah, unfortunately, we couldn't really see. Well, because like the general admission line, they were just kind of feeding people occasionally into it, so we didn't really get to see all that much.
It's hard to tell because we got there really early as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, just get there early. It's always a safe bet to do that at this place. It's been popular even before it was really good like it is now.
Right.
And now that it's really good, and already like a popular location, it gets crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, for overall, we gave it a 10. I mean, this is just legitimately one of the best haunted houses experience we've ever had. The Touch Pass is not going to be for everyone here, but if you think you'll be okay with it, I would highly recommend trying it, though, because, again, you can opt out. It's only $7 extra. But it was a whole nother level. I think they've really learned, because this is one of the first places in the area that started offering a Touch Pass.
Yes.
Now, quite a few other ones do, but they really started it. I mean, they're not the first haunt to touch you, but but in this area, I think they're one of the first to offer that edition.
Yeah, it was really one of the first ones, because everybody was like, "Wait, what?" And you had to sign like a waiver. You do have to sign a waiver online and stuff like that. I know years previous when we went, we actually had to sign a physical copy of stuff. Which, I mean, it really depends on like what county you are in and stuff, because different counties have different rules and stuff like that. So.
But yeah, it's really, if you're a haunted house fan, you need to check this place out for sure. I know when this review releases, I think there's only one more open weekend. But yeah, if you see this review and you are trying to figure out a place to go for the last weekend in October, I think this should definitely be up on the list. Yeah. There's also 2 other pretty decent haunts by it. We don't have reviews for them this year, but Mohican Haunted Schoolhouse and the Trail of Nightmares. It's been years since we went to the Trail of Nightmares. Every year we say we're going to go there.
And we get rained out.
Yeah, and tonight was kind of mucky, and we, just did a bunch of other haunted house over the couple last days, so we didn't really want to go to others tonight. Yeah. One of these years, we'll go back to Trail of Nightmares, though, and actually do a review on it. Hopefully next year. But yeah, we're very glad, because we almost didn't go to this one this year, and we're really glad we did. But have you been this year? What did you think of the show? Let us know in the comments below.
Yeah.
Make sure you're like and subscribe, and also make sure you're ringing that notification bell. So you're not missing any future upcoming videos. Thank you very much for watching.
Bye.